Hello, welcome to this special session in which we are working towards Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference, the first of its kind. And I'm so privileged today to introduce Mr. Tim and Miss Angela Brown. And they will be speaking at the upcoming Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference. So welcome with me, Mr. Tim and Miss Angela Brown. How are you doing, sir and ma'am? How are you doing today?
We're fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. So we're talking about this parenting, and you guys have been married for more than 36 years. Wow, that was awesome. How does it feel to be married for 36 years? Because my marriage is going to be 16 years next month. So how does it feel? Because you guys look that you just got married, because you guys, I saw that bond, that togetherness in you. So how does it feel to be married for 36 years?
Feels youthful.
Angela, how does it feel?
It feels great. It feels great. You know, it's just you look back on the journey and you look at all that you've been through together in life, and you come through and stronger and life lessons learned and the things I think that we can share with our kids, right? We've always been the couple that says that, you know, we're going to let our kids know about the struggles too, right? Because that's part of building up their continence and building up their resiliency.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great. Now, this conference is about parenting. And one thing we just love you guys being both of you speaking together at these conferences. I want to look back to when you guys got married and when you're starting up. What do you think has changed in parenting space? What do you think has changed in the past 36 years, that when you guys got married, starting up, you know, you raising up little kids, they went through that stage of K, you know, first grade, second grade, third grade, and now flashback to the time that we are in now. What do you think has changed about parenting and the challenges of parenthood?
I think the biggest change, Michael, is that parents have kind of dropped the ball a bit. There was a time when parents understood that the most important role that they had as individuals was to make sure that their children would be able to live a life that was full and meaningful, and that those children would have integrity and be able to understand the nuances of life and not to sugarcoat it and make it simple for them or easy for them. So the biggest difference is we've seen parents who would like to be more friends with their children, opposed to parents and leaders of children. And that's a real problem as we look at what's going to happen in the future when you don't have children that are prepared to be adults because they never witnessed that behavior in their own parents, quite frankly.
Wow, that was a real sound statement. And because what you just said, sir, I've witnessed this personally. And I was privileged to work in Salvation Army for about 10.5 years, West Philadelphia Salvation Army. And I saw, because I'm the program director for the after school program, you know, right there, we adopted a charter school. And I remember very well, there were these little kids that we were really having issue. I mean, this little kid, she's grown. You know, when you talk about little kid is grown, and the way she talked to adults, one day she get on my supervisor, and my supervisor, she's so cool. She doesn't really, you know, she doesn't let it loose, you know, but these little kids really pushed her so much that he said, no, she got to leave the program. And I found out that the same thing Mr. Tim said was what really happened. The mom was making her a friend. Sir, where do parents draw the line? Where do parents draw the line in being a friend and being an adult? Where and how can they do that? Because like I said, I saw this and I realized this little kid did not know that, listen, you don't even know how to talk to other adults. They are not your mom. Your mom might be your friend, but they are not your friend. You need to show respect. So, sir, what kind of etiquette? How can parents, especially the days that we live now, someone said we are not raising teenagers, we are raising screenagers. That was Tim Elmo. Screenagers, that means they are always on the screen, they have been, TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah. So, sir, man, how do parents draw the line? I believe there are some parents that are authentic. They need help. So where do they draw the line from trying to be a friend and now when they should be the adult?
Your question assumes that there's a line. There isn't a line. Parents throughout the lives of their children. Now, the way that the parenting is illustrated is different from a 2-year-old to a 10-year-old to a teenager to a 25-year-old. They're different. But parents are still parents. Now, there are always elements of camaraderie and friendship, but the role of parenting never ceases. It continues on. So there is no line.
Wow. Wow, that was awesome. And you know what? And I'm glad you really tell it as it is, that there is no line. The role of parenting is it's a really tacky question, because I knew very well that this is but I framed that question so that parents can know that there is no line now. Mr. Tim said so. So this next question goes to Miss Angela. Miss Angela, you and your husband, you've traveled a long way, different part of the world. I mean, and in both of your travels and you as a professional speaker, what do you think can help? Let's say we have a young traveling parent, because I know your kids are already grown. They're already on their own. So, what would be your take for you want to see a woman that is want to really do well in her career? So how can they handle being a professional woman and and also parenting? How can they really handle those challenges of I want to pursue my career, but I still want to fulfill my parent responsibilities? So how best do you think they can really handle that pressure?
Yes. Well, I think that you have to have a clear view of what's important in every season of your life. And really what you value, because when my kids were smaller, I wasn't traveling the world speaking and those things. So I knew that my number one responsibility, and Tim and I both together always said that our number one goal and responsibility was and is to raise kids and grandchildren to have an unshakable character. And so that piece was our North Star. That was everything that we did. Every decision that we made had to be in alignment with what our goals and our priorities are or were for our kids at that point in time. So I didn't travel and pursue all of my aspirations at that point in time. I knew that my number one role was to be a mom. And I didn't consider it a sacrifice at that time, because I felt that that was what I was called to do as my most important role, was to prepare these kids to be leaders and to be to have great character and to be productive members of society. Tim and I both made decisions around that. And then at a different season in life, you can make other choices. But I think that this whole concept of delayed gratification is something that's been lost. And I think that people feel entitled to pursue whatever they want to pursue at any point in their life. And that sometimes the kids become just go kind of, by the way, you're over here. But I think that as parents,
Yeah.
our kids are a priority, not our aspirations at a point in time. Because
Wow.
our season will come, right? But I think that, so back to having your priorities and your values clearly defined and living by those values and really being in alignment with that.
Wow. And I agree with you 100%. I have a friend of mine. She's a parent. The husband passed, so she has to take care of like 3 grown kids. Some of them are, until 2 are in college right now, the first 2. So she was having this guilty moment that, oh, I wish I could have time to go to mission field, but I can't do that because of these kids. They're dead pets. I have to bear that alone. And I just share. I said, listen, this is your mission field right now. The kids. I said, you want to go to mission field because other people are going to mission field? Money, here is your mission field right now. Because the teenager, the boy, I was 70-year-old now, he took the family car, because she traveled. So he drove the car, you know what you do? He went to go and hit another car. Oh, she was upset when she came back. I said, that's your mission field. I said, stop feeling guilty right now. You need to be there for them so that there will be a moment when they are grown and they are on their own. Then you can do your mission field. And that's what you said. It's all about recognizing the time and the season, yeah. So that was great that you talked
exactly.
about.
And you know what, even though, I was home with the kids and Tim took jobs, I mean, he turned down positions that would require him to be gone for long periods of time because he knew what kind of impact that would have on the kids as not having their father there. So, but even with us being very present, kids are still going to get into mission.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no perfect kids, right? So even with that, so I can't imagine, if we weren't there constantly pouring into them.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow, that'd be great. So the next question we're going to be talking about, let's talk about the conference. We have this Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference. We're just excited to see both of you speak. And what should the people should be expecting at this conference? What should they be? Can you give us like a taste? The first time I want to go and buy water ice, I said, can I have a spoon? Because I want to buy a bucket. I said, can I have a taste? Because if I want to buy a whole bucket of water ice, I want to know what mango tastes like. They told me that mango is people's favorite, but I want to taste it by myself. And I actually tasted different flavors before I now buy the bucket. It was $13 bucket then. That was like some years back. But the thing is, what should the people that have registered for this conference and people that will register for this conference, because we're going to put the registration link right in this YouTube view. So what should they expect from both of you? I'm so excited. I mean that both of you will be speaking. So what should they expect from both of you at this parenting conference?
So I just want to say that both of us are leaders. I'm a certified John Maxwell leadership coach and speaker and trainer. My husband has led, in like Fortune 500, what is it? Fortune 500 companies, big teams. So we both are leaders and have different experiences in leadership. So we espouse to the concept of parents as leaders and parents as coaches, because
wow, I like that.
Yes, parents as leaders and parents as coaches. And so we're going to talk about that parental leadership and what that really means. And then the practical application of that is going to be, how do you become the parent that's a coach? Because we read a book, my husband, was it The Road Less Traveled? And Scott Peck. The first part, the book is, he's a psychiatrist, and the very first part of the book, The Road Less Traveled, the first sentence reads, life is hard. And I think that so many times parents try to mitigate life's problems for their children, and they try to run interference for their children's problems, where childhood is an opportunity for kids to start to understand that concept that life is hard. and how are you going to be able to navigate certain challenges in life? And so, yes, when they're younger, you take care of things and you maybe mitigate and maybe eliminate certain things as they're in their really small years. But when they start to get into grade school, middle school, high school, that's the time where you have to start to empower them and equip them to be able to navigate challenges. But if you've done it right from the beginning and you start to build up those foundations of values and philosophies and beliefs and principles. I mean, ours happened to be that we wanted to raise kids, with a strong faith. So we made sure that they understood that, we may not have all the answers when problems come their way, but you can always look to Christ for those answers. And so we taught them how to seek answers, because we aren't going to always be here for our kids. I mean, we'll be gone to glory one day. And so if we've done it right, our kids will have that confidence and strength that there's something greater than even their parents that they can pull from. And so just coaching them through life around, and we're going to share stories about our challenges, because we've had our challenges too with the kids. No kid is perfect, parents aren't perfect, but we'll share stories and how we were able to raise just what we considered like 3 amazing adult children. Now our first grandbaby, Penelope.
Wow. G-Mom, G-Dad.
Yeah. Gigi and Pops. So we're excited.
Papa, Mimi. Oh, Papa. Yeah, that was awesome. Congratulations for that. I'm talking about parental leadership. I'm so excited about that, because the name of this vision is actually, I got this, the vision came to me about 2 years ago, after I started in the leadership space. And that was Parent Empowered Academy for Right Leadership. And I was like, wow. And peer, we know what peer means. Peer means something precious. And this vision was, and believe me, Mr. Tim, I'll tell you this. I was going for Angela. And if I knew that I'm going to get double for my trouble, she said, "Can I stick with my husband?" I was so excited, because we really want to bring a male presence to this. And I was so excited when she made that. Because this is it. Because, and like Mr. Tim said, and I like the way you said it, there's no lines. It shows the kind of, let me use this quote by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson said, in matters of style, flow with the current. But in matters of principle, stand like a rock. And that's the stand that Mr. Tim was making. There's no line. It's all about principle. But in kind of style, kind of like, homes used to have like one screen in those days. Everybody got around one TV. But now there are so many screens, iPad, MePad, UPad, all around. So the next question is this. What do you think is the challenges that most parents are facing now at the moment? What do you think I believe you guys will have been, talk to some parents or young parents. You got kids that are grown now, having children. What do you think are the most pressing challenges that parents are facing at the moment?
Answer that.
Well, what I think.
I want to hear yours first.
Yeah.
What have you been hearing? What have you been saying? What have you been hearing that parents have been coming to you because they saw you, or that they've been coming to? What do you think is the most pressing challenges that parents are facing all around the world?
Yeah, I think it's the challenge of courage, and the lack thereof. There are so many distractions that can occur in the life of children. We have this thing called the internet. It's like an invasive creature that's permeated families. from Facebook to Instagram, TikTok, all of them. They're invasive and it's insidious. And to have the strength of courage to tell your children that it's not the proper medium for them, and to raise them in such a way that it is limited in use and even censored. That's a hard message for parents because they want so much to have a good relationship with their children. But they predicate that good relationship on things that can perhaps be harmful to their child in future years. And so I think the greatest challenge is that to be courageous in the face of what everyone else is doing. If you want to raise children with that unshakable character that Angie discussed, then you're going to have to make some tough decisions as a parent. You're also going to have to understand that your children are going to want answers around it, and you need to be equipped to be able to have those answers and help them understand that everything that you do is in their best interest.
Wow, that was awesome. Now, sir, you took me to the next question, to be equipped. So, Angela, you want to come up?
Yeah, I was going to say that to Tim's point, you have to have courage of conviction, right? I mean, first of all, you have to know what you're convicted of. If you don't have your values, if you don't know what you stand for and what you're willing to die for, then that's going to permeate to your children. You're going to vacillate. You have to be so strong and have the courage of the conviction of your beliefs. And so one thing I can say about Tim is that him as a dad, that he always had that courage of conviction, father. And I see, because I grew up in a single parent home. A mother raised me. My dad was abusive. He left early on, thank goodness. And my grandmother also was a single mom, my paternal grandmother, who also raised me. So seeing the difference of having that father figure in the home, and it's so challenging. And I feel for single moms, right? Raising children, especially young men, because I think that his presence in the home made a difference in my daughter's life and my son's, especially my daughter, because I didn't have a dad. She did. And so I just saw her confidence and her self-esteem, and she didn't compromise her values because she had a dad who wasn't trying to be their friend. He was trying to refine, like a crucible, right? He was just trying to refine them. And so I think that's such a key point. And not that you can't be a single mom and raise kids with unshakable character. You absolutely can, but you can't put it on autopilot. You can't, when you're tired, his mom did. His mom did a great job. I feel, raising kids.
Wow, that was awesome. Then, and Mr. Tim, this question is for you. What would be your suggestion for single parents that doesn't have a male in the home, like you have the privilege of having? What would be your best advice for such a single parent about this parenting, to handle the challenges of parenting? And because one of the things we'll be talking about is parenting tips for the 21st century. So what would be your advice for? I mean, there's a single parent listening, watching us right now at the moment that they really want to do what is right. So what would be your best advice for that single parent to really help her to bring children in the right way?
The time frame is short, but the impact lasts for a lifetime. So even when you're tired, understand that the time that you put in and effort that you put in to your child, when you're exhausted, when you don't feel like it, you want to do other things, will pay off mightily. This is the best investment of time you'll ever make. One of the things that we notice with single parents as we were raising our children, even before we had them, because Angie and we had a church youth group, was that if you wanted to see children go awry, don't spend time with them. Don't put an effort to understand them. Don't cherish them. Then you'll have a nightmare on your hand and you'll regret it. You'll live a life of regret. But for those who, even when they're tired, invest the time in teaching the child to read, teaching the child manners, having fun, that investment lasts a lifetime.
That's awesome.
That would be my best counsel.
Wow. For them to really invest the time to see that they're going to have a ROI, a return of their investment, when they refuse to give up. Wow, that was awesome. So lastly, the last question I'm going to ask today, because I want to let you guys go, is this: why should parents register for this parenting conference? The theme of the conference is parenting out of an overflow. So why do you think parents should answer? If I'm watching you as a parent, why? Why should they really be in this conference? Why? I mean, of course, it's free. It's FREE, but we want to give a stronger reason. Why should they register for this conference? Please tell them why.
There's several reasons, and
Yeah.
I won't go into all of them because we don't have enough time.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But if I were to distill it to one, it's that we learn from other people.
Yes, sir.
And Angie and I were raising our children. We took lessons from so many people. It helped us because we were so limited in our knowledge and experience around parenting.
Wow.
We can share some great stories about when our children were young, as they grew up and transitioned into teenagers, and even when they went through college and graduated to purchase their own homes. We had no idea, Michael, of what we were doing. And if it wasn't for the grace of God putting wonderful people in our lives, and some not so wonderful, we would not have had the success. And we have been successful as parents.
Wow. That
Not
was
bragging.
awesome.
We've been very successful as parents.
Wow.
And we would have not had that success weren't for those opportunities to listen to other people who had gone through it and who were going through it.
Wow, that was awesome. That was great. Angela, you?
I can't top that at the end because he just surmised it very well.
Yeah.
But no, we are going to open our hearts and to everyone at the conference and really share not just the triumphs, but the struggles and to give people hope and encouragement and excitement about what's possible.
Exactly.
And what you're going through and now, the struggle won't be in vain, and that you will be able to triumph and sit back and have your children rise up and bless you.
Wow, that was awesome. You know what? You guys has really hit the nail in the ball, because the most important thing about all this conversation we're talking about is to really prepare the people. And Mr. Tim and Miss Angela, I want to say thank you for your time today. It's been a real session to give people a taste. We don't want to give them everything. It's just like a trailer, I want to say thank you for your time. And, so viewers, if you are yet to register, what are you waiting for? Jump in. And this conference is free, but registration is mandatory for you to experience the fullness. Thank you so much, viewers. And we're going to see you another time.